Hello, welcome back to this week's Torah portion. This 20th week will be in the TETZAVWH portion, meaning you shall command. TETZAVWH, TETZAVWE. So hopefully I didn't butcher it. The Torah portion will be Exodus chapter 27, verse 9 through chapter 30, verse 10. We'll be reading from the Torah portion. We'll be reading First Samuel chapter 15, and then we're going to have two readings from the New Testament side of things. Mark chapter 6, verses 14 through 29, and from Revelations chapter 12, verse 7 through 17. We'll be reading in the Scriptures 2009 version. Exodus chapter 27, verse 9, found on page 86. And you shall make the courtyard, the dwelling place of the south side, the screens of the courtyard made of fine woven linen, 100 cubits long one side, and its 20 columns, and their 20 sockets of bronze, the hooks of their columns and their bands of silver, and so for the north side in length, screens 100 cubits long, and its 20 columns, and their 20 sockets of bronze, and their hooks for the columns, and their bands of silver. And the width of the courtyard of the west side screens of 50 cubits, and their 10 columns, and their 10 sockets. And the width of the courtyard on the east side of 50 cubits, and the screens on one side of the gate 15 cubits, with their 3 columns and their 3 sockets, and on the other side screens of 15 cubits with their 3 columns and their 3 sockets. And for the gate of the courtyard, a covering 20 cubits long of blue and purple and scarlet material, and fine woven linen, made by a weaver, 4 columns and 4 sockets. All the columns around the courtyard have silver bands, their hooks silver, and their sockets bronze. The length of the courtyard is 100 cubits, and the width 50 by 50, and the height 5 cubits, woven of fine linen thread, and its sockets of bronze. All the utensils of the dwelling place for all of its services, and all its pegs, and all the pegs of the courtyard are bronze. And you are to command the children of Israel to bring you clear oil of pressed olives for the light, to cause the lamp to burn continually in the tent of appointment, outside the veil, which is before the witness. Aaron and his sons are to tend to it from evening until morning before Yahweh, a law forever to their generations for their children of Israel, from the children of Israel. Chapter 28. And you bring near Aaron your brother and his sons with him from among the children of Israel, for serving as priests to me, Aaron and Nahib and Abid and Eleazar and Ishmael, the sons of Aaron. And you shall make a set-apart garment for Aaron your brother, for esteem and for comeliness. And you speak to all the wise of the heart, whom I have filled with the spirit of wisdom. And they shall make the garments of Aaron to set him apart for him to serve as priest to me. And these are the garments which they make: a breastplate, a shoulder garment, a robe, an embroidered long shirt, a turban, and a girdle. And they shall make a set-apart garments for Aaron your brother and his sons, for him to serve as priests to me. And they shall take the gold, and the blue, and the purple, and the scarlet material, and the fine linen. And they shall make the shoulder garment of blue and of gold and purple and scarlet materials and fine woven linen, the work of a skilled workman. It is to have 2 shoulder pieces joined at its 2 edges, so it is joined together, and the embroidered band of the shoulder garment, which is on it, is of the same workmanship, made of gold, of blue, of purple, and scarlet material, and fine woven linen. And you shall take 2 shoham stones, and engrave on them the sons of Israel, 6 of their names on one stone, and the remaining 6 on the other stone, according to their birth. With the work of an engraver in stone, like the engravings of a signet, engrave the 2 stones with the names of the sons of Israel. Set them in setting of gold, and you shall put the 2 stones on the shoulder pieces of the shoulder garment of stones as a remembrance for the sons of Israel. And Aaron shall bear their names before Yahweh on his 2 shoulders for a remembrance. And you shall make settings of gold, and 2 chains of clean gold, like braided cords, and fasten the braided chains to the setting. And you shall make a breastplate of right ruling, a work of a skilled workman, like the work of the shoulder garment. Make it of gold, of blue and purple and scarlet material, and fine woven linen. It is square, double, a span in its length, a span in its width. And you shall put these settings of stones in it. 4 rows of stones. The first row, a ruby, a topaz, and an emerald. The second row, turquoise, a sapphire, and a diamond. And the third row, jacinth, agate, amethyst. The fourth row, beryl, and a shoham and jasper. And these are all set in gold settings. The stones are according to the names of the sons of Israel, according to their names, like the engravement of the signet, each one with his own name of the 12 tribes. And you shall make braided chains of corded work for the breastplate at the end of clean gold. And you shall make 2 rings of gold for the breastplate, and shall put the 2 rings of the 2 ends of the breastplate. And you shall put the 2 cords of the gold in the 2 rings which are on the ends of the breastplate, and the other ends of the 2 cords you fasten to the 2 settings, and put them on the shoulder pieces of the shoulder garment in front. You shall make 2 rings of gold, and shall put them on the 2 ends of the breastplate on it, which is on the inner side of the shoulder garment. And you shall make 2 rings of gold, and put them on the 2 shoulder pieces, underneath the shoulder garment, on the front of it, close to the seam above the embroidered band of the shoulder garment. And they bind the breastplate by means of its rings to the rings of the shoulder garment, using a blue cord, so that it is above the embroidered band on the shoulder garment, so that the breastplate does not come loose from the shoulder garment. And Aaron shall bear the names of the sons of Israel on the breastplate of right ruling over his heart when he goes into the set apart place for remembrance before Yahweh continually. And into the breastplate of right ruling you shall put the Urim and the Turim, and they shall be on the heart of Aaron when he goes in before Yahweh. And Aaron shall bear the right ruling of the children of Israel on his heart before Yahweh continually. And you shall make the robe of the shoulder garment of all blue, and the opening for his head shall be in the middle of it, a woven binding all around its opening, like the opening is in a scaled armor, so that it does not tear. And on its hem you shall make pomegranates of blue and purple and scarlet material all around its hem, and bells of gold between them all. A golden bell and a pomegranate, a golden bell and a pomegranate on the hem of the robe all around. And it shall be upon Aaron to attend in, and it shall be heard when he goes into the set apart place before Yahweh and when he comes out, so he does not die. And you shall make a plate of clean gold and engrave on it, like the engraving of a signet, set apartness of Yahweh. And you shall put it on the blue cord, and it shall be on the turban, and it is to be on the front of the turban. And it shall be on the forehead of Aaron, and Aaron shall bear the guilt of the set apart gifts, which the children of Israel set apart in all their set apart gifts. And it shall always be on his forehead, for acceptance for them before Yahweh. And you shall weave the long shirt of the fine linen, and shall make the turban of fine linen. And you shall make the girdle of woven work, and make long shirts for Aaron's son. And you shall make girdles for them, and you shall make turbans for them for esteem and comeliness. And you shall put them on Aaron your brother, and on his sons with him, and shall anoint him, and shall anoint them, and shall ordain them, and shall set them apart, and they shall serve as priests to me. And make linen trousers for them, to cover their nakedness, reaching from the waist to their thighs. And they shall be on Aaron and on his sons, and when they come into the tent of appointment, or when they come near the slaughter place to attend in the set apart place, so that they do not bear crookedness and die, a law forever to him and to his seed after him. Chapter 29. And this is the task you shall do to them. It is to set them apart to serve me as priests. Take 1 young bull and 2 rams, perfect ones, and unleavened bread, and unleavened cakes mixed with oil, and unleavened wafers anointed with oil. Make these of wheat flour. You shall put them in 1 basket, and bring them in the basket along with the bull and the 2 rams. Then you shall bring Aaron and his sons to the door of the tent of appointment, and wash them with water. And you shall take the garments, and shall put on Aaron the long shirt, and the robe with the shoulder garment, and the shoulder garment, and the breastplate, and shall gird him with the embroidered band of the shoulder garment, and shall put the turban on his head, and shall put the set apart sign of dedication on the turban, and shall take the anointing oil, and pour it on his head, and anoint him. Then you shall bring his sons, and put long shirts on them, and shall gird them with girdles, Aaron and his sons, and put the turbans on them. And the priesthood shall be theirs, to an everlasting law. So you shall ordain Aaron and his sons. And you shall bring near the bull before the tent of appointment. Aaron and his sons shall lay their hands on the head of the bull. And you shall slay the bull before Yahweh by the door of a tent of appointment. And take some of the blood of the bull, and put it on the horns of the slaughter place with your finger, and pour all the blood beside the base of the slaughter place. And you shall take all the fat that covers the entrails and the appendage of the liver and the 2 kidneys and the fat that is on them, and burn them on the slaughter place. But the flesh of the bull and its skin and its dung you shall burn with fire outside the camp. It is a sin offering. Take 1 ram, and Aaron and his sons shall lay their hands on the head of the ram. And you shall slay the ram, and you shall take its blood and sprinkle it all around the slaughter place. And cut the ram in pieces, and wash its entrails and its legs, and place them upon its pieces and on its head. And you shall burn the entire ram on the slaughter place. It is an ascending offering to Yahweh. It is a sweet fragrance, an ever offering made by fire to Yahweh. And And you shall take the second ram, and Aaron and his sons shall lay their hands on the head of the ram. And you shall slay the ram, and take some of its blood, and put it on the tip of the right ear of Aaron, and on the tip of the right ear of his sons, on the thumb of their right hand, and on the big toe of their right foot, and sprinkle the blood all around on the slaughter place. And you shall take some of the blood that is on the slaughter place, and some of the anointing oil, and sprinkle it on Aaron, and on his garments, and on his sons, and on their garments. And he and his garments shall be set apart, and his sons and the garments of his sons with him. You shall take the fat of the ram, and the fat tail, and the fat that covers the entrails, and the appendage of the liver, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat of them, and the fat and the right thigh. It is for a ram of ordination. And 1 loaf of bread, and 1 cake made with oil, and 1 thin cake from the basket of the unleavened bread that is before Yahweh. Then you shall take them from their hands, and burn them on the slaughter place, as an ascending offering, as a sweet fragrance before Yahweh. It is an offering made by fire to Yahweh. And you shall take the breast of the ram of Aaron's ordination, and wave it, a wave offering before Yahweh, and it shall be your portion. And from the ram of ordination you shall set apart the breast of the wave offering which is waved, and the thigh of the contribution which is raised, of that which is for Aaron, and that which is for his sons. And it shall be from the children of Israel, of Aaron and his sons, by law forever. It is a contribution. It is a contribution from the children of Israel, from the slaughters of the peace offering, their contributions to Yahweh. 29. And the set apart garments of Aaron are for his sons after him, to be anointed in them, and to be ordained in them. The priest from his sons in this place put them on for 7 days, when he enters the tent of appointment to attend the set apart place. And take the ram of ordination, and cook its flesh in a set apart place. And Aaron and his sons shall eat the flesh of the ram, and the bread that is in the basket by the door of the tent of appointment. And they shall eat those offerings with which the atonement was made, to ordain them, to set them apart. But let a stranger not eat them, because they are set apart. And if any of the flesh of the ordination offering or of the bread be left over until morning, then you shall burn up what is left over. It is not eaten, because it is set apart. And so you shall do to Aaron and his sons, according to all I have commanded you. 7 days you shall ordain them, and prepare a bull each day as a sin offering for atonement. And you shall cleanse the slaughter place when you make atonement for it, and you shall appoint it set apart. For 7 days you shall make atonement for the slaughter place, and set it apart. And the slaughter place shall be most set apart. Whatever touches the slaughter place is to be set apart. And this is what you prepare on the slaughter place: 2 lambs, a year old, daily, continually. Prepare 1 lamb in the morning, and the other you prepare between the evenings. And 1/10 of an ephah of flour mixed with 1/4 of a hin of pressed oil, and 1/4 of a hin of wine as a drink offering with 1 lamb. And prepare the other lamb between the evenings, and with it prepare the grain offering and drink offering as in the morning, for a sweet fragrance of an offering made by fire to Yahweh. A continual ascending offering for your generations at the door of a tent of appointment before Yahweh, where I shall meet with you to speak with you. And there I shall meet with the children of Israel, and it shall be set apart by my esteem. And I shall set apart the tent of appointment, and the slaughter place, and Aaron and his sons set apart to serve as priests to me. And I shall dwell in the midst of the children of Israel, and shall be their Elohim. And they shall know that I am Yahweh their Elohim, who brought them up out of the land of Mizraim, to dwell in their midst. I am Yahweh their Elohim. 30. And you shall make a slaughter place to burn incense on. Make it of Arcadia wood, a cubit long and a cubit wide, and it square, 2 cubits high, its horns of the same. You shall overlay its top, its sides, all round, and its horns with clean gold, and shall make for it a molding of gold all around, and make 2 rings of gold for it under the molding on both its sides. Make them on its 2 sides, and they shall be holders for the poles to lift it up. And you shall make the poles of the acacia wood and lay it with gold. And you shall put it before the veil, that is before the ark of the witness, before the lid of atonement, that is over the witness, where I am to meet with you. And Aaron shall burn on it sweet incense morning by morning. As he tends the lamps, he shall burn incense on it. And when Aaron lights the lamps between the evenings, he shall burn incense on it, a continual incense before Yahweh throughout your generations. Do not offer strange incense on it, or an ascending offering, or a grain offering, and do not pour a drink offering on it. And Aaron shall make atonement upon its horns once a year with the blood of a sin offering of atonement. Once a year he makes atonement upon throughout your generation. It is the most set apart to Yahweh. Moving on to 1 Samuel chapter 15, verses 2 through 34, on page 295. Thus said Yahweh of hosts, I shall punish Amalek for what he did to Israel, how he set himself against him on the way when he came up from Mizraim. Now go, and you shall strike Amalek, and put under the ban all that he has, and you shall not spare them, and put to death from man to man, from infant to nursing child, from ox to sheep, from camel to donkey. Then Shaul summoned the people, and mustered them into Telaim, 200,000 foot soldiers, and 10,000 men of Judah. And Shaul came to the city of Amalek, and lay in wait at the wadi. And Shaul said to the Cunites, Go, turn aside, come down from among the Amalekites, lest I destroy you with them. For you did show loving commitment to all the children of Israel when they came up out of Mizraim. So the Cunites turned aside from the midst of the Amalekites, and Shaul struck the Amalekites from Havilah all the way to Shahar, which is before Mizraim. And he called Agag, sovereign of the Amalekites, alive, and put under the ban all the people with the edge of the sword. But Shaul and the people spared Agag, and the best of the sheep, and the cattle, and the fatling, and the lambs, and all that was good, and would not put them under the ban, but all goods despised and worthless that they put under the ban. And the word of Yahweh came to Samuel, saying, I am grieved that I have set Shaul as sovereign, for he has turned back from following me, and has not performed my words. I am displeased, Samuel. And he cried to Yahweh all night. And Samuel rose early in the morning to meet Shaul. And it was told to Samuel, saying, Shaul went to Carmel, and see, he set up a monument for himself, then turned and passed over, and went down to Gilgal. And Samuel came to Shaul, and Shaul said to him, Blessed are you of Yahweh. I have performed the word of Yahweh. But Samuel said, What then is this bleating of the sheep in my ears, and the lowing of the cattle which I hear? And Saul said, They have brought them from Amalek, because the people spared the best of the sheep and cattle to slaughter to Yahweh your Elohim. And he says, your Elohim. And the rest we have put under the band. And Samuel said to Saul, Wait, and let me declare to you what Yahweh said to me last night. He said to me, Speak. And Samuel said, Though you were little in your own eyes, were you not head of the tribes of Israel? And did not Yahweh anoint you sovereign over Israel? And Yahweh sent you on the way, and said, Go, and you shall put under the band the sinners, the Amaleks, and fight against them until they are consumed. And why did you not obey the voice of Yahweh, but swooped down on the spoil, and did evil in the eyes of Yahweh? And Saul said to Samuel, I did obey the voice of Yahweh. I went on the way to which Yahweh sent me, and brought back Agag, sovereign of Amalek, and I put Amalek under the band. But the people took the spoil of the sheep and cattle, the best of which should have been put under the band, to slaughter to Yahweh your Elohim in Gilead. Then Samuel said, Does Yahweh delight in ascending offerings and slaughterings, as in obeying the voice of Yahweh? Look, to obey is better than slaughtering. To heed is better than the fat of rams. For rebellion is a sin of divination and stubbornness. It is wickedness and idolatry, because that you have rejected the word of Yahweh. He also does reject you as sovereign. Touch base there for a second there. 23. For rebellion is a sin of divination and stubbornness. Well, what is sin, right? 2 John chapter 3, verse 4. Everyone doing sin also does lawlessness, and sin is lawlessness. So, we got that. Picking up from 24. And Saul said to Samuel, I have sinned, for I have transgressed the mouth of Yahweh and your words, because I feared the people and listened to their voice. And now please pardon my sin and return with me, and let me bow myself to Yahweh. And Samuel said to Saul, I do not return with you. You have rejected the word of Yahweh, and Yahweh does reject you from being sovereign over Israel. And Samuel turned around to go away. Saul took hold of the corner of his robe and tore it. And Samuel said to him, Yahweh has torn the reign of Israel from you today, and has given it to a neighbor of yours better than you, David. Moreover, the eminence of Israel does not lie nor relent, for he is not a man, and he should relent. For he is not a man that he should relent. Then he said, I have sinned, but esteem me now, please, before the elders of my people and before Israel, and return with me, and I shall bow myself to Yahweh your Elohim. Isn't it our Elohim? And Samuel turned back to Saul, and Saul bowed himself to Yahweh. And Samuel said, Bring Agag, sovereign of Amalek, here to me. So Agag came out to him delightfully, and Agag said, Truly the bitterness of death has turned aside. And Samuel said, As your sword bereaved women, let your mother be bereaved among women too. Samuel then hew Agag to pieces before Yahweh in Gilead. And Samuel went to Ramah, while Saul went up to his house in Gibeon of Saul. Mark, book of Mark, chapter 6, verses 14 through 29 on page 963. And sovereign herds heard of his name, and had become well known. And he said, John the Immerser has been raised from the dead. And because of this, those powers are at work within him. Others said, he is Elijah. And others said, he is a prophet, like one of the prophets. But when Herod heard, he said this one is John, whom I beheaded. He has been raised from the dead. For Herod himself had sent and seized John and bound him in prison because Herodias, his brother Philip's wife, because he married her. For Johann had said to Herod, it is not right for you to have your brother's wife. So Herodias held a grudge against him and wished to kill him, but was unable. For Herodias feared John, knowing that he was a righteous and set apart man, and he protected him. And he protected him. And when he heard him, he was much perplexed, yet heard him gladly. And a suitable day, when Herod, on his birthday, gave a feast for his great men, and the high officers and the chief men of Galilee. And when the daughter of Herodias herself came in and danced and pleased Herod and those who sat with him, the sovereign said to the girl, ask me whatever you wish, and I shall give it to you. And he swore to her, whatever you ask me, I shall give to you up to half of my reign. And she went out and said to her mother, what should I ask? And she said, the head of John the Immerser, John the Baptist. And coming in immediately with haste to the sovereign, she asked, saying, I wish that you give me at once the head of Johann John the Immerser on a dish. And the sovereign, becoming deeply grieved because of the oaths, and because of those who sat with him, did not wish to refuse her. And the sovereign straightway sent an executioner and commanded his head to be brought. And he went and beheaded him in prison, and brought his head on a dish, and gave it to the girl, and the girl gave it to her mother. And when his taught ones heard of it, they came and took away his body and laid it in a tomb. On to Revelations, chapter 12. We'll be reading verses 7 through 17 on page 1208. And there came to be fighting in heaven. Michael and his messengers fought against the dragon. And the dragon and his messengers fought. But they were not strong enough, nor was a place found for them in the heaven any longer. And the great dragon was thrown out, that serpent of old called the devil and Satan, who leads all the world astray. He was thrown to the earth, and to his messengers were thrown out with him. And I heard a voice saying in the heaven, now have come the deliverance and the power of the reign of our Elohim, and the authority of his Messiah. For the accuser of our brothers, who accused them before our Elohim day and night, has been thrown down. And they overcame him because of the blood of the Lamb, and because of the word of their witnesses, and they did not love their lives to the death. Because of this, rejoice, O heavens, and you who dwell in them. Woe to the sea and earth, because the devil has come down on you, having great wrath, knowing that he has little time. And when the dragon saw that he had been thrown to the earth, he persecuted the woman who gave birth to a male. And the woman was given 2 wings with a great eagle, to fly into the wilderness, to her place where she nourished for a time and a half. Daniel 7:5. From the presence of the serpent. And out of his mouth the serpent spewed water like a river after the woman, to cause her to be swept away by the river. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened its mouth and swallowed up the river which the dragon had spewed out of his mouth. And the dragon was enraged with the woman, and he went to fight with the remnant of her seed, those guarding the commands of Elohim and possessing the witness of Yeshua Messiah. Shalom. Shabbat. Have a good Shabbat. Make it a great day. Read your Bible. Talk to the Father.